Okay, so we've got consul, ubi ea parare cognovit. First thing I notice right there before going any further is we have a clause marker with ubi that introduces this dependent clause here. Got a comma, ablative absolute, and then there's an ut. But notice the verb that goes with this ut, monebat, is indicative. Ut plus the indicative always means as. So we just have a dependent clause that you have to translate it with as. Ablative absolute here, and then we have the main verb that goes with consul. So the consul does something. And then we've got quid, prepositional phrase, and a subjunctive verb with an infinitive dependent upon it. I wonder what kind of a subjunctive clause we have here. Whenever you have a question word with a subjunctive, that should be a clue. And then we have a relative clause here, and it most likely goes with iis. I think that qui refers to iis. Now we can look at this in greater detail. Let's see. The consul, ubi ea parare cognovit. I'm sorry, ea parare cognovit. Ea could either be neuter, nominative, accusative, plural, or it could be feminine, but since we don't have any women running around here, there's no really good reason for ea to be feminine nominative, so I'm going to assume that it's neuter. Since it is neuter, notice that the verb ends in t, so it's singular, so ea cannot be the subject, so it must, by process of elimination, be neuter, accusative, plural, i.e. those things, so it's the direct object. The consul, we'll assume that the consul is also the subject of cognovit, when he recognized that these things were being prepared, i.e. that everybody was plotting to let the bad guys out of jail, and probably with force, when he recognized that, he did these things. Ablative absolute, we've got our noun here, our participle here. As, and then we have res atque tempus monebat. This is interesting because we really want monebat to have a plural subject, but actually I think that the subject res atque tempus is actually two nouns combined as one, being the subject of monebat, as the time and matter was warning or was needing in this instance. Ablative absolute. Now, refert, the entire direct object of refert is probably this stuff here. So the consul referred all this to the Senate, probably, with the Senate having been called. Placeat is often an impersonal verb. What it is necessary or pleasing to be done about those guys. Who? About those guys who had been handed into custody. Remember, Lentulus and Catilinae and all those guys were in house arrest, but it's not working out the way they had planned. Okay, moving on to the next part. Said, eos palo ante frequens, senatus judicaverat contra rem publicam fecisse. Okay, we've got an accusative here. This is the subject. This is the verb. So the Senate had judged that those guys had done this infinitive against the Republic.